Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I got a few comments. I apologize to those viewers, the people that watch my channel all the time. I apologize if you've heard me talk about this before because it was a very big thing in my life. One of the biggest things where I lost my girlfriend, my fiance, the love of my life, my soulmate, passed away from COVID on August 5th, 2021. And I want to talk a little bit about that. And it has to do with Trump's picks. Let me say this first. Something occurred to me. Donald Trump picked Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to head the new government of government efficiency. Let me think about that for a second. Nothing says government efficiency like two people doing the same job. Let's just think about that for a second. But more importantly, I want to talk about Robert Kennedy Jr. Okay, Trump tapped him to be the head of Health and Human Services, okay, which obviously does have a lot to do with vaccines and immunization and all that stuff. Robert Kennedy Jr. is I think he has one of the biggest platforms for anti-vaxxing in the country. So he is an anti-vaxxer. He believes that vaccines have to do with childhood, learning disabilities. But more importantly, I want to talk about this. My ex-girlfriend, this was the love of my life. This was my first girlfriend ever, Audrey. Third grade, I met her, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend. We separated, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, like the class couple in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. High school, we went our own way. We ended up going our own way as adults. And in my 50s, I was clean and sober. I got clean and sober at 40 years old. And I found out she lived in the same town as me. And she was sober from a drinking problem. So we got back together and we lived together. And, we had our ups and downs. And at one point, in the summer of 2021, she was moving down to Florida to start a new job, and I was going to go down there and move in with her after she got established there. And I remember saying goodbye to her, and I gave her a hug, and I kind of kidded around. This was in the summer of 2021, and I said, "Oh, we're not wearing masks," we're kidding around about hugging her. And I asked her, I said, "You still haven't gotten a vaccination?" And she said, "No." She was an avid Trumper. I will never date another pro-Trump person ever again. Her and her entire family were Trump supporters, and it just did not work. So she believed this stuff that Robert Kennedy Jr., the new head of Health and Human Services, she believed the kind of rhetoric he put out about vaccines being dangerous, so she did not get vaccinated. She drove down that day. That day and the next, she drove down to Florida, and she got to Jacksonville, and she didn't know it, but at the time, the Delta variant of COVID was blowing up in Florida, and especially in the Jacksonville area. I mean, it was just exploding. And within a couple days of arriving, a day or two of arriving in Florida, she got sick. Within a week, she was in intensive care and intubated. I never talked to her again. She died on August 5th. A horrible death, alone in the ICU. None of her family or me could go see her. She died alone and intubated in the hospital because she believed the kind of nonsense that people like Robert Kennedy, the new head of Health and Human Services, Trump's new head of Health and Human Services, she believed the kind, and it killed her. People like him led to my girlfriend's death. And here's her obituary. That's her right there. Here's another little interesting part of this. After she passed away, her family, her sister contacted me. I still have this text from her sister. Her sister contacted me and asked me, she said, "Gerald," she says, "you lived with her. Did Audrey have any problems with asthma? because we never, her sister, her family never knew her to have any kind of asthma problems at all. And I said, no, not at all. She outran me on the treadmill. We used to go to the gym every morning together, and she would outrun me on the treadmill. And I said, no. I said, why do you ask? And she said, because the medical examiner, like Ron DeSantis' medical examiner in Florida, insisted that asthma had to do with her passing away. In other words, they would not admit that she died in ICU from the Delta variant COVID. They wanted to blame it on asthma, which was a flat out lie, just a flat out bald-faced lie. And God knows how many other thousands of deaths they attributed God knows what to try to avoid getting big COVID numbers. That's how Florida and Ron DeSantis avoided getting, that they did great, because they didn't believe in wearing masks or vaccinations. And then still nobody got COVID. That's a lie. So I apologize again if you've heard this before. I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Saturday.